Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to replace some parts on a GM Silverado. It's the same on a lot of vehicles, but today we're doing a Silverado. Folks over at GruvenParts have worked to design a better part, and as you can see here, this is the new door lock motor. This is much better than anything that the big three is putting out right now. We're going to install this, we'll remove this whole door panel, and make it better. As you can see, the folks have labeled this with driver's side, passenger side. There's different ones for different sides. Pay attention when you get your parts if you're doing both sides. If you're not, let them know what you need. They're going to hook you up. Good folks. Additionally, if you are going to be working on a modern vehicle, you need some plastic tools. Get you some, check them out. I'll put maybe a link down in the squawk box below. You guys can pick yourselves up some at the Amazon or whatever. They're pretty cheap. These are good for anything you're working on, pulling dash apart, door panel in this case. Get you a set of plastic tools. Let's go ahead and get this off. There's clips down in here in the bottom and everywhere. I'm going to show you how to take it apart. We're going to start by working the door panel here. Of course, being plastic, mine's already broke right here, but you can take that cover off right there. That's what covers that screw. It's going to be a 10 millimeter. This part here, I'm just going to put a piece of Velcro here. Stick the plastic back on. If you break yours, get yourself some Velcro, double-sided. Take this part and just stick it back on there. It's gonna work fantastic. As mentioned a few moments ago, we want to go ahead and pull these 10 millimeters out. There's one behind the handle here, and then there's going to be one lower. I'll show you that in just a moment. Go ahead and get this out. Additionally, these GMs, these handles are just prone to peeling. I don't know why. The chrome on them just splits. They start to peel. Be careful not to mess it up, because this is where it starts. Once you mess this thing up, they're going to start to peel. Just be careful. Remember, everything's plastic. It all wants to break. You can order replacement handles if you want to. It's a great time to do it if you just happen to want to do, get two birds stoned at once. Go ahead and just order this set of handles here and just replace the handles. Alright, this is the part where you need to use your plastic tools. I choose to use just a flat blade screwdriver because it seems to work better. It just gets in there good. My plastic toolkit just didn't come with the right sharp area. Down in here, get two screws off in there. We get both of those two screws out. Careful, they're easy to drop down on the door. Not to say you can't get them out once you get everything undone, but just be careful. They'll end up down in the door. Additionally, you're going to need an extension here. If you're lucky enough to find a 10 millimeter socket, you could probably find an extension. Get in there, break them loose. You can also, once they're broke loose, disconnect. Use just your extension, your socket here. Just twist them out. Gives you a little more control. Oh, see, I dropped one there. It'll be fine. I'll get it when the panel's out. Grab your set of needle nose. You can also reach in here and grab these screws. Not a big deal. Put them in the cup holder so you don't lose them. Alright, if you got power windows, which I think a lot of people do anymore, you need to start removing this power panel. My experience, it's easiest to start on the inside and lift up and work out. So, try to get your little plastic tool in there. Give yourself a little bit of leverage. That'll kind of lift it up and you can work around and it'll come up. Now you're going to think, oh, that's a lot of wires on there. It is. It's a lot of wires. But they're all these are shaped to only go in that hole. So, for instance, this white one, you unplug it. You can see it's got different shapes on it. It's not going to plug into anything else. It just can't do it. Alright. So this is going to be a case of round peg square hole. Should be alright. Most everybody should be able to knock this out. So just unplug all these. Move along, and you'll be fine. Additionally, if you want to take a picture of it before you take it apart, I am all about that. Take a picture of it. A little tricky on where to start to get this thing to separate. And it really kind of varies on who assembled it or what kind of door panel you got. But most of the time, you can start up here and work your way around. And that's kind of what I'm going to attempt to do, and we'll see if it comes out. Alright, now GM put plastic clips holding this together because, well, seems to be the what they're doing. You could very easily put a screw in here, and the screw would hold the door, and it would be solid and good quality. But I'm going to attempt to pop the clip. Alright, clips are popped. Now if you break any of these clips, I'll put a link down in the box below, or maybe like up top here or something, and you guys can click it to buy some. That will loosen your door. Now we're going to lift it in the upward direction. It's got a lip up top here. This lip is what holds it on. So you got to lift it up and pull it away. There's also going to be a cable on the other side of this handle, so it's going to fight you. You're going to have to disconnect that cable. See if I can show you how to do that. Oh, you're also going to have to take this stupid cover off. This is probably going to break because it's plastic. So be gentle, and we'll see what happens. Okay, now you can see down in here, I've got a broken one. One that came out, and there's one down on the bottom there. I'm going to try to put a screwdriver in and separate them. You can see we got our plastic tool here. We're going to twist it, see if we can pop this thing out. Okay, now we did break it, so be prepared for that. Alright, so now's when you're really going to start cussing GM. You got this little plastic here. This is like a friction clip. That's all it is. Just it slides into each side, gives it a place to grab onto. Piece of all thread in the back, I'll show it to you, but you need to get this thing out. So you'll have to pull up on this, just kind of get back there, and now it'll come off. Alright, now you take this whole thing out, and you can see that thing just slides right on there. So it's gonna go like that. It's gonna clip onto these threads. And then once it grabs those threads, that's what allows this to go, up and down. So there you go. That's how that's designed, in case anyone was wanting to know. Now we're going to remove the entire door panel, which is pretty easy once you get all the crap off. All right. So from here, it's still a little tricky. Right here, you gotta have to pull it off of that little O-ring. Very difficult, honestly, and stupid. See, there it is. That's it. Good to get it off of that. So, alright. Next, you've got this lovely design to deal with. That's the door lock itself here. Alright, next is this cable here. This is going to your door latch. And on the back side, you've got to disconnect it. So, this can be a little tricky, but as you can see, it'll focus. When you pull this, this is your handle. It's what opens the door. And you need to remove this from it to get it out. Now, in order to do that, you've got to press in on this little tab here, and that'll kind of pull out. But then you got to rotate it, because there's one on the other side, and you got to get it as well. And then you can pull it out over. Once it's over, it removes. Just kind of slides down in there like such. That'll remove the whole door panel. Okay, now that I got it out, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. That's it right there. You got to get those little tabs pushed in, and you can pull it right out. And then unhook that ball and socket. Easy day. Alright, next you want to remove this white covering. This is supposed to be like an insulation for noise and whatnot. Honestly, it's a real cheap material, but it kind of works a little bit. Feel free to replace it with something better while you're at it. But to get it off, there is a bead of black tar-like material here, and it can be reused. It's not a one-time deal, but you have to pull slow with it. Make sure, you know, if it's warm outside, this will work even better. But just pull slow. It'll come off. It's still tacky, and just pull slow. You can see here it's just slowly separating. And it kind of leaves a little bit of a track of where it was, and you can put it right back where you got it on reassembly. Alright, you want to store this in a clean environment, so that way what goo is on there doesn't become contaminated. Alright folks, next we want to pull these Torx bits. I'm going to use a T30 Torx bit. Pull these off, and we're going to get these pulled out of here. Okay, reach to the back side here, pull forward. And that's how it holds on there. So this fits right inside of here. At least it used to. You can see that's how it gripped in there. So, with that separated, you can now remove this shaft. This actually goes to the handle on the outside of the vehicle. This is not hooked to this lock. We're going to go ahead and remove this rubber grommet to give us a little bit of extra wiggle room on removing this. And next we're going to attempt to wiggle this thing out. Let's see if I can get some footage in there or not. This right here is going to be your rod for locking it manually. You can just push it out of there. Alright, so just push it out and it snaps back in the same way. Push it out. With that top rod removed, you'll be able to pull this thing out of here. This will pull this top part through, make it to where you can actually reach it. This is going to be just similar to what we did earlier when you took this cable off of the door handle. As you can see, you want to push this forward and lift up on the end. And now it's sticking out. And then we want to, of course, compress the two marks so we can pull this thing out. I will use a pair of needle nose, and this sucker should come right on out of there. Look at that, like we've done this before. Let's see what we can't do. Look at that. Jeez, just comes right off. Look at that. Holy cow. Alright, so we're lifting up on this as such, and it comes unplugged just like that. Alright, so now we have our complete lock assembly removed. Alright everybody, I've got this thing out. I've got it in the vise. If you don't have a vise, you'll be alright. You can do this on the ground, but I like to put things in the vise. That being said, if you're going to put it in your vise, be gentle. It's plastic. As we've already seen, plastic just falls to pieces. That's okay. So stick it in the vise, stick it however you want to secure it. I'm going to take these two rivets and I'm just going to grind the heads off them just enough to get this bracket off. seems as though it's got like a bit of a taper to it, so you're going to have to grind down just a hair past what you think would be safe. Alright, so there it is. Alright, this is your mechanism there. This is your bracket sits on top, as we just witnessed. And that's it. So this is of course your lock jobby here, goes through the door. Okay, next we got this thing apart, of course, got the bracket off. We want to use a T10 Torx bit, T10, and we're going to remove all the accessories here on the outside. Got plenty of them. As we've talked about a million times, and I can't say it enough, this is plastic. Just be gentle. It's now we want to separate this thing. This is also a good time to be careful. When you separate it, this stuff can go any which way. So just be gentle. Keep track of how it's coming apart. Like right now I feel pressure, and it's obviously from the spring and tension on this. Kind of give some attention to how it's coming apart. Now I assume that that tension was actually from this being preloaded on this right here. So alright, there it is. We've got it taken apart. Alright, now we want to examine this, understand what we're looking at before we tear it apart. Here's the motor. This is the old motors that fail because they were made in who knows where. They're not a good quality motor and they don't stand up to any kind of test. So, looking at that, you're going to see that the two power plugs are pointing out here. Now this is in direct relation to the top. As you can see, two power plugs there. And over here, you've got a couple of little sensors that indicate when the door is locked or unlocked. So this little panel here is almost like a printed control board, as it has all the wires built in. So try not to break this. Okay, so we're good to go ahead and move the motor out, the old motor. We'll just kind of pull up on it a little bit, and it will raise right out. The new motor will drop right in. Easy as pie. Same with this, and then up and over. Jeez, the plastics. Alright, now we should be able to assemble. Alright, no resistance. Alright, for some of you ones, it might not be an option to weld this bracket on here, which I'm going to weld on, but I wanted to let you know that you do have the option of using a drill bit and a rivet, or drill and tap, put a screw in it. I drilled it out with an 1/8 inch drill bit, and I put in some 1/8 inch rivets. Pretty straightforward. And that's what I'm going to do right there. It's going to be my 1/8 inch rivet. Over here I'm going to go ahead and weld it, because, well, I broke a drill bit off in it anyway, so there's just some options. Now, earlier I was saying don't forget to put this back together just how you found it, or you'll be kicking yourself in the butt. And make sure you find all the parts that were on there, such as this, and make sure it's on there. Also make sure it's on there in which the order in which you found it, or you'll be taking it back off. Alright, and then you'll be part of my club, which is if it ain't worth doing twice, it ain't worth doing. So get that on there, just like such. Now this here's got a little groove in the bottom of it. You can probably see. Make sure that goes over the locking mechanism. This is cammed. And then line it up at the same time. There you go. There you have it. Now you can use a steel or an aluminum rivet here think I'm going to try an aluminum one just in case I have to drill it out. I'm not 100% sure as how it's going to work. And aluminum's pretty easy to drill out. There you have it. Now let's put it back in the truck. We need to go ahead and hook up this cable here. This is what's going to operate everything. So a little easier to hook up than was to take apart. You just hook it back on and then snap it back in. Pretty straightforward on that one. And then on the plug, it is an example. Stick it on as far as it'll go. This plug is cammed, so once it stops, let me see if I can get this more visible. We're going to push down on this, and it's going to suck itself in and seat, just as such. Now that's done. Focus on getting this stuff put back where we took it out of. Get it to line up, and you want it to come out of that hole right there. As such. Next, you want to try to get that red clip on at the top of the other one. As such. Next, we want to try to get our 3 screws started. Now, this will be a little bit tricky, but you just need to get everything lined up and start your screws. Alright, next we want to get our lock rod hooked up just how it came off. So we're going to simply move it over. You can see kind of where it came off. So we're just going to put it back in the same location. And that should work fine. Next, we'll go ahead and tighten these down. Alright, the next part of this operation is real important. You want to test everything before putting everything together. This is going to make your life a lot easier if something is wrong. So we'll go ahead and install the boot we removed on our locking rod. Then you'll want to grab your control module that you use to control your locks. Let's see here, we're going to go ahead and just plug everything in. I don't know which one actually goes to the lock. I don't actually know where this plug goes. Right there. Oh, there it is, the brown one. That is the door lock. Alright, it works. Let's put this door panel back together. Alright, for starts, we're going to put this lovely piece of white insulation back on there. So you want to make sure everything looks good, there's not like a bunch of dirt on there. And you want to line all these little lines back up right here on the door, and you can kind of see where it came off of. It's best to start on one side or the other. Don't start in the middle because it'll be off on both sides. Alright, and to get your door panel back on, we're going to go ahead and install this door latch from the inside. So we're going to take these 2 bottom perches down here. We're going to set them into the door. There's 2 slots where they'll sit. Alright, see those 2 slots right there? We're going to set them right in the door. just as such. That's going to hold this panel while we do the rest. Alright, here's your door panel. Keep in mind you got this wire here. This is going to the heater controls to your seats if you have them. Make sure it's hooked up. It goes right here with the rest of the wires on your window controls. Alright, now that everything's installed, we want to go ahead and start snapping everything into place. The bottom ones, remember, those are hooked, so you need to make sure they're in those square holes. They are. Very easy to install. Alright, as I said before, these can only go in so many places, so make sure they make it in that same hole. Alright, then install. You can see there's little snaps here. It's where everything just got to go right back into the same spot. Good time to test it a third or fourth time. Now that you're starting to figure this out, you can see this, just make sure it's pulled up as high as it'll go. Slide your locking mechanism over it. This is just merely for aesthetics. And then install your little clip. And then test operation. There it is, installed. Reinstall the screw in the door handle. And reinstall your plastic cover. If it's broken, put a piece of Velcro behind it. It'll be alright. We're going to install the final 2 screws in the bottom. Remember this fella, it's still broken, but we're going to go ahead and install it. Got a clip here and a clip there, but well, whatever. You can order another one of these on the internet, so I'll also put that in the link down below if, you know, it's driving you crazy. And that is it. It completes the installation. Alright, after everything's installed and you feel comfortable with it, go ahead and shut the door. Check it for operation. If it's working smooth, the lock works as it's supposed to, you're set to roll. If you have any suggestions of other stuff you think needs improved on, maybe you've had something break excessively on these GM trucks, let us know. Put them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps. See you next time.